Today I've got a scary story for you all about a company named J.C. Penney's and another company named Hertz. Both companies had total disregard for cash revenues and the flow of income into their companies. Both ended up in bankruptcy. Today, the real scary story, I'm afraid, is that we're not applying the lessons learned from these two companies to our own lives, and that we are increasingly, as Americans and around the world, growing debt instead of growing wealth. Every time we decide and make a choice to live paycheck by paycheck and not put, what we can over, we're creating our own horror story. Boo! Welcome back, guys, to my channel. Welcome to first-time visitors to my channel. If you haven't guessed by now, someone's getting really excited about Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays. I wouldn't say it's right around the corner, but it's coming. When you walk in the Dollar General, the Walmart, or some of the stores I frequent, see the candy out, see the mask on the aisles, you know it's coming. So one of the scariest things really is debt. Next to your health, the wellness of your family, of course, political things, right there with it in my mind is debt, on a personal basis, right there at that level. Scary stuff, debt. These companies that I just talked about, hope it didn't scare anybody off with it. They are scary stories, and it is applicable to our own families. Unfortunately, families do go bankrupt. We do have bankruptcy filings. I really hope to try to avoid that. Hope to teach, educate, prevent that through these videos. Hope to keep myself inspired and on my toes and on red alert for debt, issues like that. Want to take a sec to please hit that subscribe button, give me a like, give me some comments. If any of this information is helpful, please let me know. It really keeps me going. With that being said, today's video is a little different. Didn't want to scare anybody off, but do want to, let you know about how debt can be scary and very harmful for our own well-beings, as well as previously mentioned, other companies. So with that being said, we'll get into today's video. Want to be able to show you a simple, down and dirty, quick budget, very basic, just to get folks started. I hope people are thinking about debt and their financial situation, and I hope they can find this information helpful and help them to get, to a better, stable footing with their own debt, their own, building an emergency fund, those type things. Okay, let's take a look here at Joe Bob or Sally Sue's expenses and income, and that's what you're gonna do. And yes, this is the back of an envelope lying around my house. So we're gonna take and we're gonna write down the total income for the month, we'll say September, and total income here for this example is $2,000, of course. The expenses, we're gonna write down every expense. We're gonna write the date it's due. We're gonna write the amount. We're gonna total all that up. That's the outgoing expenses, which comes to $1,665. We're gonna have the income minus the outgoing, leaves us with $335. Didn't put it here. What I would encourage, or my recommendation, personal recommendation would be to put that towards an emergency savings account pronto, without wasting any time. Guys, we'll get into how to distribute this next, but I want to take a sec to just remind folks, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a financial expert, personal expense expert. This is what has worked for my family in the past and others that I know. So these are just some tips of me just trying to be helpful. Do your own research. This is a down and dirty budget, very simple, just to get someone started, trying to keep it extremely simple. And without further ado, we'll get into the actual, week by week analysis and what we'll do. But to get started, you're going to have to list out every expense. You're going to have to look at what is coming in, certainly your income, and then we're going to break it down. Quick pro tip, or not pro tip, I just said I'm not an expert. It's very helpful to put these due dates and the amount if you have a cell phone, which most of us do these days. Or you can put it on a calendar on your refrigerator, somewhere you see a lot. And put the same information, the amount due, the date due, and I would do it a day before it's actually due, just to trigger. I set an alarm on my phone. I get noticed a day ahead of time to give me a good heads up, so I'm never late on anything that way. Without further ado, we will get into the actual budgeting part of this. This is a bi-weekly budget that we're looking at here. Okay, guys. So what I've done here is I've broken this down into 2 paychecks for the month of September. Using September as an example is a good starting point. So what we've got to do here is look at our bills and the dates they're actually due. First thing you may notice if you look at paycheck 2, it's a little heavier weighted as far as like where the bills come due at, the 15th, 20th, 21st, 27th, 28th. Find that most of these companies, cell phones, your car payment, even the electric company, and the insurance even, are pretty amenable to moving and switching your due dates around. So in this scenario here, certainly something I would explore and look at, calling these places and maybe moving one of them to the beginning of the month, because it's really heavily weighted there at the end. But it really works out because you see, you know, a lot more at the end of the month left over. So that being said, you may switch one of those to the you know, the first of the month. So what we've done here is just, like I said, a very basic, down and dirty, looking at your income, writing down all your expenses and what day they're due, and putting them down. And this is a very simple budget that you can follow. In a zero-based budget, every dollar would have a job, and you see at the end of each one of these pay periods, you do have a little, what I like to call, we'll call that wiggle room. The first paycheck, you're going to have $117.50 left, of course. The next paycheck, $280. To me, as someone trying to get out of debt and knows the importance of having an emergency fund, my suggestion to you would be to take a humongous percentage of that and build you an emergency savings account if you do not have one already. Now, that being said, if you do have a fully funded emergency fund, or you feel comfortable enough to, you know, once again, it's a personal decision. See, with this scenario here, you have a car payment. I would certainly consider taking a certain percentage. You almost have $400 left out of this. I would put, you know, $200-300 towards this car payment, and let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of that debt. But first and foremost, you know, my first recommendation to folks is always to look at that emergency savings account, have it ready to deploy in case, you know, something terrible were to happen, unforeseen, hence, you know, why we call it an emergency fund. It's an emergency, a true emergency. You know, we didn't take into account with this down and dirty budget things that are going to come up, like clothing, new jobs come up, we need clothes, things wear out, things are going to happen. And that's certainly a more, you know, more complicated, more, I don't like the word complicated, a more in-depth budget that we would look at and expand. But this is a great start to a budget. This is what my family did without any knowledge of what a budget even was. We took a look at what was coming in and what was going out, and we, you know, this isn't the information, this isn't how much I pay or anything, this is just an example, but this is something that could be helpful to you and your family, because when you're going to war with anything, you got to have some type of battle plan, and that's the way I think of this, as a battle plan. The Americans right now, as a nation, we are bombing at debt. We are 14 trillion, in debt overall. So we got a situation here, folks, and anything we can do to try to alleviate that upon ourselves, you know, and our families, you know, I'm all for. Once we get a fully funded emergency fund, you know, out of this, I've written down wiggle room, or wiggle, then you can start looking at really attacking that debt. Then you can really start looking at investing. I'll try to remember to add my Webull link if you want to get started investing. Again, I sound like a broken record on this. We always look at, you know, ETFs first until we gain a little bit more knowledge of what's going on, really digging in depth. It's a video for another day. So I hope you found this information valuable. I hope that it's helpful. I hope that it can help improve your situation. And as always, you know, I thank you for joining me for this video. I know the beginning's a little crazy, but I tried to really provide some value here at the end, because I know that, you know, there's nothing worse than not having a plan and feeling like you need to grab the credit card or borrow money from a friend, and, you know, this never-ending struggle to get out of a financial situation. So I hope you found some value out of this and are able to apply it in your life and to help your family. And with that being said, guys, I hope everybody has a great rest of the week, and I will look forward to posting another video out this coming Thursday, as always. Thank you very much.